What's up, everybody? Crepe Aerosmith featuring Beck here on KRFF 95.9, RadioFreeFargo.org. We're streaming everywhere on this blue and green marble. We can get into your ear hole, and I personally can't wait to do that. Thank you for joining me. I'm Wilson. What in the world? I mean, everywhere in the world right now, something crazy is happening. Something that makes you go, what in the trailer park with your sister is going on here? And I thought, well, what a perfect way to spend an hour. We can talk about what in the world is going on in our world. And I'm your host, Wilson. So stay tuned, and we're going to cover some stuff. But right now, we got to do the red tape. Feel me? This show is brought to you by Black Cottage Alchemy. Black Cottage Alchemy on Facebook, 1,200 MIGs of locally grown hemp, whipped up into a fun tub of outer body butter. Put it on your outer body, huh? Black Cottage Alchemy, thank you for sponsoring this show. Learn about underwriting opportunities with nonprofit Radio Free Fargo 95.9 FM KRFF LP. Increase public visibility and create a positive image. Underwriting may increase website traffic and possibly offer tax deductions. Possibly. To learn more, please message us at our website. Now, we got this to talk about, and then we can get cruising. Nonprofit Radio Free Fargo is listener supported. That's you, my friend. Radio Free Fargo receives no government support nor grant monies presently, and traditional advertising is no option for nonprofits. We do have underwriting, which is different. Radio Free Fargo believes in trying to present the widest spectrum of music. If you believe in community radio and would like to help, visit our website, www.radiofreefargo.org. Click on the donate button. As always, thank you for support. Please tell others about Radio Free Fargo. Now, as a 28-year addict, 4 years clean in August, I believe God gave me the power to do that, and I show him props every Sunday. Antioch Church, 417 Main Avenue, 10 a.m. We do a recovery class. If you've got a monkey on your back, or you've kicked the monkey off your back, but you can feel that little banana eater pulling on your pant leg, come on through. We believe the man upstairs can take care of you. Again, this show is What in the World with Wilson. We're going to cover the craziest, strangest stories that I can find in the week. And because, again, in this world, it's just like there's constantly things happening, I found, where you go, what? And we're going to talk about those things today. Now, of course, we're going to have music interspersed with that. But we're gonna break you off a quick taste test here, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. This is from Fox News. This is from across the pond, as they say. Woman is still suffering. Now, you don't know what's coming, but I do. After being knocked out by a cauliflower while grocery shopping. That's right. A grocery shopper in the UK was reportedly knocked unconscious, knocked flat, after a discounted cauliflower fell on her head. Now, I just got to interject quick. Like, why did they have to tell us it was a discounted cauliflower? I mean, do we need to know it's on sale? It's stinking knocked her unconscious. Who cares if it's discounted? But whatever. Sammy May, a resident of Kingston, told GB News, I'm guessing that's Great Britain, that she was recently browsing a discount rack at a grocery store when the vegetable hit the back of her head. Suddenly, a really large and heavy item fell down on the top of my head and hit my head. I feel like she doesn't know how to talk, but the shopper recalled, I fell, and when I woke up, I was suffering from a concussion and was knocked out. Cauliflowers tend to weigh around 2 pounds, and May says the brassica, which is that broccoli, fell between 4 and 6 feet before hitting her head. Mai later told the Sun that she's still experiencing a variety of symptoms, primarily cauliflower ear, hello, from neck pain to anxiety, and that the incident has had a damaging impact on her health, which I'm guessing she's looking for some cash. I mean, yeah, here's the next sentence. She said she's considering legal action against the chain. Of course you are. I was very unwell. She was super unwell. And I'm still suffering and unable to work. I don't know how the cauliflower fell, but they should not store heavy, roundish items like that on the top shelf. The staff just put it back on the top shelf, so they were not treating the incident seriously. I don't know, people. First of all, do you think 6 feet up in the air a cauliflower could knock you flat? I mean, I'm struggling to believe that it could. Now, if there was like a really strong monkey on testosterone pills, and he's loose from the zoo, he's all mad, and he's up top there, and he's got that cauliflower, and he does the hi-ya and drops it down, maybe. But why do they have to tell us it's a discounted cauliflower? I don't know. You're listening to What in the World with Wilson on KRFF 95.9, where I cover everywhere in the world there's stuff going on that makes you go, what? And that's the stuff your boy Wilson is covering. And now we're going to play some songs here. This one is specially requested by my daughter, who seems to think that I should have songs with words. Now, she must not have got the memo that I don't play songs with words on this show, but since she's my daughter, I decided, all right, let's do it. Here's Weird Al, Word Crimes, 95.9.
Everybody shut up.
Well, that was funkier than I gave it credit for. Word Crimes by my boy, Weird Al Yankovic on KRFF 95.9, RadioFreeFargo.org. We're streaming everywhere on this blue and green marble, so listen up, y'all. What in the world with Wilson? What in the world indeed? We've got stuff going on in this world every day that's newsworthy, that makes you go, what? And so I feel like, hey, that's the niche. That's what I can do. Now, I used to do Canna-Talk ND with Wilson at this time slot for years. And I got bored, but there is a measure, there is a movement. So November 5th, you can vote on cannabis legalization, Measure 5. New Economic Frontier is the group behind it. So that's still the thing, but I'm covering crazy news stories now. That's me now. That's my life. So let's tell you about this. Programming on KRFF 95.9 LPFM is being underwritten by the 14th Annual Fargo Record Fair with over 50 tables, count them, of vinyl, CDs, posters, music, memorabilia, and much more. The Fargo Record Fair will take place on Saturday, October 26th from 11 a to 5 p at the Fargo Brewing C. All right. Located at 610 North University Drive in Fargo. Search Fargo Record Fair on Facebook for further details. Now, we got stories for you people, and we're going to talk about them. Again, this is going to be like, you're like, what? And that's what we do here. What in the world with Wilson? Now, first up, this is a German story. German police are hunting for Cookie Monster caught speeding in Dortmund. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking, why? We didn't even know Cookie Monster was real. We figured it was like a costume, and you'd be right. The driver, who was dressed as the googly-eyed Sesame Street character, was photographed by a roadside speed camera, and the picture is pretty neat. On October 8th, Dortmund police posted a photograph of the driver on X, formerly Twitter, which, I mean, why do we got to say that? I don't care. Whatever. Writing, yes, of course, it's totally funny to put a Cookie Monster mask over your head, drive along the A45, and get flashed, in reference to the flash of the roadside camera. In a statement, the police said the vehicle, an Audi, was registered to a 57-year-old man, which is about how old Cookie Monster probably is, but the identity of the driver had not been established. It said that on September 20th, Cookie Monster was photographed by a speed camera on the A45 in the direction of the city. The photo was taken by a mobile camera on the junction. When analyzing the data, the police noticed the driver was wearing a mask. The mask is reminiscent of a character from The Muppet Show. The police also said they didn't know whether the driver was male or female. Well, Cookie Monster is obviously a dude. Or whether they deliberately drove too fast so the speed camera would take a photo of them in the hopes of keeping the picture as a funny trophy, which is pretty funny. 57-year-old man is registered to the 57-year-old man the car is registered to will soon receive a letter from the traffic fines office, $40 euro fine. Now, I don't know if that's a lot. They say anyone who causes a serious accident is not only responsible for property, but in the worst case may also be responsible for killing a person. But it's still pretty cool that Cookie Monster's out there doing his thing. God bless you. All right, so what do we got here? We got man using paper straw drinks Capri Sun in 21.71 seconds. Now, what's interesting about this is he had to drink it all. They cut it open and measured it. Okay? Now, before we get into this, I'm going to talk to you about this speed eater who drank this Capri Sun in 21 seconds. That sounds like a long time when you think about it, but it's because the straw is so small. You can only get as much as you possibly, you know what I mean? Now, if it was like an open cup, and you were Badlands Chugs, I mean, you could drink like a whole 2 liter in that amount of time. So a Canadian speed eater with multiple world records to his name managed to drink an entire pouch of Capri Sun in 21 seconds while using a paper straw. Mike Jack, which has got 2 first names. Like, how can you take him serious? Who holds numerous Guinness World Records for speed eating, visited the record-keeping organization London headquarters to attempt to set the world record for the fastest time. The fastest time currently then was 22 seconds. He managed to drink the pouch in 21.71 seconds, and a Guinness verified there was under half a teaspoon of liquid left in the pouch when he was done. Even though I barely got it, I'm very happy that I finally achieved this one. He credited his success to his wife and to his Lord and Savior. Now, I added the Lord and Savior, who served as his coach for the attempt and came up with a method he used. Okay, her technique got it for us. So here's the technique. And I think all of us that have been kids at one point, I mean, and most of us have, okay, unless you haven't been born yet, then I don't know how you can listen to this show, but it's what in the world, so maybe. Do a little extra blow to get some more air. Now, by extra blow, they don't mean Coke. Do a little extra blow to get some more air in there, get all the liquid out of the creases, and then suck it in. That's what did it. And if you've ever drank in a Capri Sun, it's always fun to blow air into it, which, as we all know, got us more liquid out of it. And if you did it when it was full, it would squirt all over yourself. It would squirt all over yourself. Now, the fastest time to drink a Capri Sun with a standard plastic straw is 8 seconds. So that's the difference in circumference. And so Jack is a serial record breaker who normally focuses on speed eating items known for their high levels of spice. So this wackadoo is eating 50 Carolina Reapers, habaneros. This guy's an animal. Let's keep moving. We got stuff to talk about. All right. So Swiss court rules workers must clock out for bathroom breaks. So what do you think of that, people? I mean, is that like what in the world? I don't know. Which is kind of wild, though, because the business is actually a clockmaker. So I feel like the irony is there. The court said that Swiss law does not mention the right of employees to go to the toilet, even though this is a basic physiological need. A court in Switzerland, where time is money for its famed watchmaking industry, has ruled that a dial manufacturer was justified in telling workers, if you need a bathroom break, clock out and take it on your own time. Now, we all love those 10 to 20 minute poopy poop breaks. Am I wrong? I don't know. Where did Wilson go? I don't know. All right. But the fact that you'd have to clock out, I mean, really, it isn't going to take very long. Okay. So regional court, they ruled that it's within its rights to require staffers to punch out for toilet time. The case has bared what some say is a labor law loophole with a in a rich alpine country with a reputation for running like clockwork. Now, these guys are loving these watch analogies. Word of the clock-out requirement leaked to labor inspectors on a site visit during the COVID pandemic, according to the ruling, which was delivered but made public. They ordered the company to end the practice, alleging a violation of federal labor law that protects workers' personal needs, and arguing that it could cause workers to hold it in or not hydrate, which could lead to serious physiological disorders. In its legal action, Singer insisted its staffers had a great deal of freedom during their breaks, whose length was left to the discretion of each employee, and the clock-in system didn't involve telling managers why staff took breaks. So, a lawyer for the business told the company believed the issue was generally about an interruption of work. So regardless of the reason for the break, it requires clocking out. They included toilet breaks with rest breaks, phone breaks, or a nature walk. Obviously not the same thing. All right. So there you have it. If you live in Switzerland, you're going to have to clock out to pee, people. So either stay here in the beautiful and the best country in the world or head over there. It's up to you. It's up to you. Idaho man walks over 1,100 feet with running lawnmower on his chin. That's right, you heard it right. Serial record breaker D. Rush took a 1178-foot 5.73-inch walk with a running lawnmower balanced on his chin to break a world record. Rush used an electric mower to attempt the record at a track in Boise. He said he struggled with winds after surpassing the previous record and would have kept going, but the breeze finally pushed the mower off his face. When you think about that, I mean, that mower's heavy, and the wind blew it off his face? That's crazy. Must have been powerful windy. An assistant walking alongside him quickly cut the power to the mower as it fell. I don't know. I mean, I know I, as a kid, could balance some stuff. So I suppose it's just a matter of that, you know. But here we got something interesting here. This is a head scratcher. Okay, New York greenlights rat birth control to curb city's infestation. You heard that right. Birth control for rats is coming to New York. Now, rats are kind of the quintessential New Yorker. They're the original New Yorker. Program signals possible change of strategy in the eternal war between the New Yorkers and their least favorite neighbors. And I feel like, I mean, left unchecked, how big can a rat get? I mean, there's word on the street them rats can get big, like dog sized. So, the eternal battle against its rodent population has New York taken a new twist after the city council approved pilot schemes to deploy rat contraceptives in a new effort to curb their booming population. So in the next few months, they're going to be using Contrapest, okay, a type of rodent birth control that will be put in special containers aimed at encouraging the rats to ingest it. Now, I don't know what encourages them, you know. During such monthly inspections of the areas, the department shall track the amount of rat contraceptive in each rat contraceptive dispenser. The law was inspired by the tragic death of the city's beloved but short-lived Flacco the owl, who escaped from captivity and seemed to be flourishing amid Manhattan skyscrapers until he was found dead, poisoned by rat poisoning. And so we can't have that. We can't have Flacco the owl getting poisoned. So New York's rat problem is known worldwide, even sparking a mini tourism industry around it with people offering rat tours. Now that is crazy. I mean, a rat tour? Last year, New York appointed its very own rat czar, Kathleen Korat. No, it's karate, but it's close enough to rat. Korat-E, who was charged with getting a handle on what was dubbed public enemy number one. Well, here's the crazy thing. New Yorkers also have a famous soft spot for the rats, with whom they share the city. One of the city's most beloved modern icons is Pizza Rat, so named after a video of a determined rat dragging a slice of pizza down some subway steps. Well, there you have it, and that is crazy. I believe that is crazy. All right, we got some stuff. Oh man. Oh, okay. Good. Okay, let's see. Oh, whatever. Okay, sorry guys. Sorry. Oh man, what in the world? All my pages are dying. So we're going to have to do something like this. I hope it works. But anyway, you're listening to What in the World with Wilson. And I'm happy to have you with me here. We just I did New York Post articles, and they're not showing up on the internet. But I'm going to do this here. I found a stranger, this is from New York Post, I found a stranger sleeping under my house, and then I confronted her. What she found in her crawl space is enough to make your skin crawl. Someone's been living under my house, says this lady. The woman, known only to her online audience as Spring Chicken, was tidying up the yard earlier this week when she noticed that the hatch to a small underground compartment of her 113-year-old abode had been suspiciously unlocked. Upon investigating the curious breach, this lady called Spring Chicken discovered a makeshift bed complete with a purple and pink blanket and several bags filled with the stranger's personal effects. She goes, I don't think it's been slept in super recently, but she left for a golf tournament, came back, found the bunk. The bag of stuff definitely has a head-shaped depression. The bag of stuff definitely has a head-shaped depression in it. So whether it's storage or just an occasional sleep spot, I'm sure someone is using the space. So Ashley, California, sent social media spiraling after she learned that an ex-convict had been living beneath her floorboards. She goes, there's a whole stinking man living here for months underneath the house. Do you know how creepy it is to see a stinking arm come out of a hole in your house? Oh, boy. All right. Well, let's see what else we got for you here. And I certainly have something for you. Are you ready for this one? Are you ready for this one? I don't think you're ready for this one. This is from New York Post. We're going to take a pause here, and then after this, we'll play a break. Woman named Marijuana Pepsi from birth doesn't smoke cannabis or drink soda, but will never change her name. So let me just say that again. There's a lady out there with her birth certificate, her parents, and we're going to find out more about this, hopefully, is named Marijuana Pepsi. Now, I feel like marijuana is a female name, like it makes sense, okay? So a woman called Marijuana Pepsi from birth says she'll never change her name. Even though she doesn't smoke cannabis, drink drinks, nothing. Marijuana Pepsi Van Dyke, 52, was given her name by her mom, who said the name would take her around the world due to its originality. Now, what do you think? Do you think that's the way to get around the world? I don't know. Growing up, Marijuana said she would be questioned on the moniker and whispered about people assumed her mother took drugs or was in prison, which was untrue. This story gets even crazier. Marijuana has a PhD in higher educational leadership, works at Community College of Baltimore, and is founder of Action, his empowerment center for change. She's always been asked why she hasn't changed her name or been told that she should change it. People are sometimes so uncomfortable saying the moniker that they would nickname her Mary, even when she asks them not to. She isn't a fan of pop such as Pepsi, and she's never smoked cannabis, although she gets approached by cannabis companies all the time asking to work with her. Well, of course. The academic said she'll never change it, to make a point that you can't judge someone by their name alone. Marijuana, who lives near Live Oak, Florida, said classmates and even teachers would whisper and come up to me asking if it was my real name. I would overhear people speculating if my mom was a crackhead. I still have people say that to this day. When people find out my name, they ask my nickname instead. I tell them if calling me Marijuana isn't comfortable, they can call me Dr. Van Dyke. Boom. And take that, y'all. Now, that's a mic drop, and I love it. If you ain't comfortable calling me Marijuana, then call me Doctor. That's great. I always knew I would get a PhD as I've dedicated my life to education, and I thought if people would be calling me Marijuana Pepsi, let's see, where is it? And I thought if people would be calling me Marijuana Pepsi, I'll be Dr. Marijuana Pepsi. It's my superpower because I don't have to live within the expectations of others. People think things about me based on my name, but I define success on my own terms. Marijuana, now mom to son Isaac, grew up fielding questions about her name every day. She'd get all kinds of stuff like what kind of mother would name her kid Marijuana. They would even suggest her late mother was a hard drug user, but her mother was neither and selected the name because it would make her daughter stand out and be a force in the world. Now I can assure you it did. Marijuana is unsure herself why her middle name Pepsi was chosen, although assumes it is to make the name even more unique. She's had job applications decline. She's had people suggest she shouldn't be allowed to work in education. And as an accomplished director and academic, even people who are aware of her achievements tell her when they meet her that she's nothing like I thought you'd be. So as she grew up, she would be asked if people could call her Mary, but only accepts being called her first name. She goes, it's a problem, but it's not my problem. And she's always asked if she does drugs. She's also asked if she drinks Pepsi, which she doesn't. People don't believe her when she says she's never smoked cannabis. Because how could you be called cannabis or marijuana and not smoke? She says, I just get high on life. Well, that is a great story. If I have another child, and my only child who's listening has got to be lucky. I didn't know about that before she was born, because it was highly likely she, in fact, could be, cannabis Pepsi. Anyway, let's play some tunes here. This song does not have words because we don't play songs with words here. This is Coyote Hearing, Marco Benevento. Thank you. Now you're too much. No, stop it. All right, keep it up. Thank you. Coyote Hearing by Marco Benevento. I love that song. It's KRFF 95.9, RadioFreeFargo.org. We're streaming everywhere. You can hear us. You can listen. You can do what you do. What in the world with Wilson? That's the hour you're into right now. We got a big world, and a lot of crazy stuff makes you go, what in the world? And I'm going to showcase that Thursdays, 4 o'clock. For 1 hour, I'm going to give you, each week, we're going to curate some crazy what in the world, and we've been doing that here today. Marijuana Pepsi, PhD, got a doctorate, real name, never even seen cannabis, hasn't drank a soda, but that's her name. I think that's crazy. Now, if you remember the Johnny Cash song, A Boy Named Sue, where a guy named his dude Sue for kind of the same reasons, because he knew he'd get pressed and he'd have to stand up for himself, So, again, you're listening to What in the World with Wilson. A lot of stuff going on in our world every day, and I thought, well, why not showcase that here on KRFF? Now, this is from WTOP News. This is kind of, I don't know, twisted, but it is kind of interesting. Advocacy groups suspend use, which means they've used it, right? So that, I don't know. Suspend use of suicide capsule pending Swiss criminal probe of woman's death. And there's a picture of this thing, too. You can Google it. Advocacy groups behind a so-called suicide capsule said Sunday they have suspended the process of taking applications to use it, which numbered over 370 last month as a criminal investigation into its first use is completed. Now, it might be legal there to assist your, if you're deciding, I should die for whatever reason. I thought it was illegal everywhere. Well, maybe I don't know, maybe Oregon allows you to do like suicide, like a doctor helps you. The president of Switzerland-based Last Resort, which is a crazy name for a suicide pod, all right, is being held in pre-trial detention, an affiliate found in Australia over a quarter century ago. Okay, so Swiss police arrested Willett and several other people following the death of an unidentified 64-year-old woman from the U.S. Midwest. Oh, that could be from Fargo, who on September 23rd became the first person to use the device, known as the Sarco, in a forest in the northern Schaffhausen region. Others initially detained were released from custody. That is crazy. Again, advocacy groups suspend use of suicide capsule. So I don't even know what that means. I wish they'd have given me more information. I wish they'd given me a little more information. Well, this is from the New York Post. I'm a homeless ex-Playboy model. I lived with Hugh Hefner. Now I'm sleeping in a tent. She went from Hefner to homeless. A former model who lived at the infamous Playboy Mansion and partied with the world's biggest celebrities is now living in a tent. Louise Glover, 41, was crowned Playboy's Model of the Year back in 2006 and briefly lived rent-free at Hugh Hefner's lavish L.A. estate. But the British beauty's fortune took a turn when she suffered a heart attack, breast surgery, and spent 5 weeks in the hospital. Glover's now living in an $80 tent on a farm in England and is fearful for her future as cold weather quickly approaches. She doesn't have any family. She's trying to stay upbeat, make the most of my situation. But it is difficult. She says, I need to get myself out of this pickle soon. Things have to change before winter hits. So there you have it. And then there's a bunch of pictures. She began modeling at age 20. Anyway, let's see if there's anything more interesting about this. Soon, she was staying at the Playboy Mansion. I don't know. Too bad there wasn't like a contingency plan. After recovering from her heart attack in 2010, she decided to pivot to personal training. Then she had a heart attack, and, I don't know what happens here. But with her personal training work drying up, she found herself struggling to make ends meet. So she says she's too much self-respect to work as a stripper or any of that nasty stuff, so good on her. So I pray things work out for her. All right. In addition to her tent, Glover has a small stove for cooking, 2 hot water bottles for warmth, and an unshakable sense of optimism. And like I said, everybody is just a few wrong turns away from something going down, you know? And so it is what it is. Now, I got this crazy story I want to tell you guys now. And then I'll be wrapping things up here pretty soon. That's kind of interesting. Now, I don't even know if I should say this, but this is a New York Post story. Okay. Man chops up own penis and stores severed parts in jar of snow after eating magic mushrooms. A man in Austria reportedly amputated his own unit with an axe after ingesting a hefty dose of psychedelic mushrooms. Fortunately, doctors in Austria were able to reattach the severed organ. The 37-year-old man was reportedly suffering from depression and alcohol at the time of his psychotic break. Now, mushrooms are used for mental health, so I don't want to take away from that. It helps treat patients experiencing all kinds of stuff. So I'm not anti-mushrooms. No way, no how. This is the first documented case of Klingsor syndrome related to psilocybin, in which a psychological disturbed person self-inflicts harm on their genitals. All right. So that is a crazy story. All right. Now, this is an interesting. This is interesting here. This is just at a meat counter. A customer comes up and she goes, "How much are your chicken pieces?" And the person goes, "White meat or dark?" Customer goes, "I'm white." She goes, "I don't understand." Customer says, "I can't have dark meat. It's for, you know." Me, "No, I really don't." Customer whispers, "Dark people." Me, "Well, that's not what that means. Dark meat means thighs, legs, and drumsticks. White meat means breasts and wings." Customer, "Oh, but I love drumsticks." And I go, "So shall I get you some?" Customer goes, "But I can't, I'm white," and walks away looking sad. That happened. That's a real story. And that's a definite what in the world for you right there. All right. Florida man shoots down Walmart drone in Lake County and is facing legal implications. All right. So, Lake County man named Dennis Wynn shot down a Walmart delivery drone, which I didn't even know. I mean, I'd read something about it, but I didn't know Walmart literally was delivery droning. That happens? I mean, in North Dakota? I'll have to Google it. Wynn fired a single shot from his handgun, causing $2,500 damages to the drone. As a result, he was arrested, and now he faces charges: shooting an aircraft, discharging a firearm, and criminal mischief. The FAA classifies drones as aircraft, making shooting at them a federal offense, including fines and imprisonment. So, of course, there's the dangerous stray bullets. It had came into his private, his airspace, essentially, like his yard. Of course, he's an idiot to think people are spying on him, right? But he thought he had grounds to shoot it down because it was on his property, essentially. So, I don't know. Pilot dies flying Turkish Airlines plane from U.S. to Turkey. And that sounds crazy, but then it was like the other pilot and the assistant pilot landed the plane. So it's like, well, if you got all these pilots up there, then... But I suppose, you need a contingency. If a Turkish pilot dies, you need somebody to fly the plane, don't you? I mean, it's kind of how that works. All right, well, programming on KRFLP FM, Radio Free Fargo, 95.9 FM has been underwritten by Flatland Guitar and Lutherie. Flatland Guitar is your full-service guitar shop and your exclusive dealer for Yamaha, Taylor, and Paul Reed Smith guitars and other brands. They sell guitars on consignment. They take trade-ins and have a full-service on-site repair center. Check out Flatland Guitar and Lutherie on Facebook or come by and visit them in person at their location at 1450 25th Street South in Fargo. Again, you're listening to What in the World? ! What in the world indeed? There's some stuff going on every day in this beautiful blue and green marble we all sit in. And I believe we should showcase it, highlight it here on 95.9. So every Thursday, 4 o'clock, I get in here and I break out some of the craziest stories I've heard this week. And that's kind of an interesting one for sure. Preston Stryker, that's a goalie, a goal kicker. I think that's like soccer. It's a